You got a kind face. You got a good head of hair. You seem like a nice guy. I want to help you. I'm gonna help you rediscover your manhood. You in or you out? I'm in.
From David, Dear Sweet Daddy, you frequently mention the importance of marriage and the calling of most people to marriage. I think you're right and I should get married, but a woman who I could reasonably meet geographically, is not spoken for, shares similar values, and is herself interested in me seems so astronomically unlikely as to be impossible. I'm not sure I know anyone who meets 2 or 3 of these criteria, so expecting to find someone who meets all 4 just seems unreasonable. For example, I'm not sure I know any women at my church who are single, and they seem to find me repulsive anyway. The ladies at my work will put up with me, but they're all taken and or godless communists. Anywhere else, I'm not given a second thought and I feel invisible. The idea of looking for a potential wife seems like shopping for a multi-million-dollar mansion for when I win the lottery. I don't want to give up. I think I owe it to my parents to give them a daughter-in-law and grandchildren, and I don't think I'm the only man who finds himself in this predicament. What do you think? Well, you're not the only man in this predicament, certainly, and I think that every man, I can't say every, but a great number of men feel this way at a certain point in their lives, even the ones who end up married. I can remember myself at a time thinking like you did, like the idea, because it's not real right now and it's all kind of in theory. And so the idea of finding a woman who I'm attracted to and shares my values and is attracted to me for some reason, and all those things and lives somewhere within a vicinity where I can see this person, like the idea of all that lining up and actually getting married and starting a family and all these things, there was a time in my own life where it did feel a bit like window shopping for mansions on the hope that you'll hit a Powerball or something like that. But the good news is that for, I would say probably the majority of men who feel that way, it does end up happening. Because as it turns out, winning a lottery there's very few people that ever do that, but a great many adults end up getting married. So it's a normal thing. The way you're feeling right now is normal, but what you're talking about and what you desire is also normal, which means that just like statistically, the odds that it will happen are great. Now, I get these kinds of questions, and it also puts me in a tough spot because I'm not given important details that I would need. Like, I have no idea how old you are. I don't really know anything about you other than what you've said here. And some of that, it can change the calculus somewhat. So if you were to tell me that you're a single guy, never married, feeling this way, and you're 55, well, I would tell you that it's not hopeless. I mean, people marry later in life, so you shouldn't give up on that by any means. It does make it more difficult, I have to admit. Now, if you're a guy in your early 20s and you're feeling this way, then it's like, trust me. Then I can say with much more confidence that if you're in that category, that it will work out and it will be fine, and you will, because almost any guy in their early 20s is going to feel this way. And if you listen to a lot of women in their early 20s, they feel this way too. I'm never going to find the right guy. All the same. What you're talking about in the reverse for women. Great many women feeling that way. The other part of the good news is that it is true that a lot of this is under your control. I think you have more control than you realize that you do. Or at the very least, you have a control over a certain part of it. And so you should focus on controlling those parts. Focus on the parts that you can control. The parts that you can't, you can't make the perfect woman materialize out of thin air. You can't do that. You can't control other people. If you meet a woman and she's not the right kind of woman, you can't make her into that, and you shouldn't try. You can't make a woman into the kind of woman who you want to marry, but you can make yourself into the kind of man that women want to marry. Buying a new car can be a stressful experience for anyone, especially if you're a first-time buyer or if you have no credit. Before you walk into a dealership and spend the entire day with the crowds, the stress, the potential to not even find the right car, you need to check out CarZing. CarZing is completely changing the way that you buy a car online. By partnering with credit agencies, leaders, and over 25,000 dealers nationwide, CarZing provides you with everything you need before stepping foot into the dealership. Once you find the right car at your ideal budget, All you got to do is bring your saved deal voucher with you to the dealership to finalize your next ride. It is so simple. Even if you're not in the market for a new car, you just check out CarZing anyway. CarZing's online window shopping experience goes beyond mere images. You can dive deep into each vehicle's specifications, features, and performance capabilities. Zoom in on craftsmanship at the interior, marvel at the cutting-edge technology, and admire the meticulous attention to detail that sets these automobiles apart from the rest. CarZing helps make your experience faster, cheaper, and less stressful. So visit carzing.com/Walsh today and find the best deals near you. That's carzing.com/Walsh. Now, you say that you are repulsive to women. Again, don't know anything about you. I've never seen you. I think it's very likely that you are being much harder on yourself than you ought to be. There are repulsive people out there, but they're, it's uncommon. Then there are other people that intentionally try to make themselves repulsive, like the green-haired people on TikTok with facial piercings and all the rest of it. I assume that's not you. So you're probably being too hard on yourself, but we can all improve. And if you're still single and you haven't been able to find a woman and you've made attempts and there are women that you're interested in, they're not interested in you, then you can control some aspects of that. You can do things like you can go to the gym, you can get in really good shape. That's going to improve your chances significantly. And it's not even because women are shallow. I mean, some women are shallow, just like some men are shallow. But the physical aspect does matter. That's the first thing someone's going to notice about you. And they do have to be physically attracted to you. Women aren't as visual as men are, but it still is an important aspect. So you can get to the gym. You can get yourself in good shape. You can start thinking about, what you wear, how you present yourself. If you think that your personality is not attracting the kind of attention that you want, or if you walk into a room and you feel invisible and you're not able to command attention in the room the way that maybe you see other people are able to do. Well, that again, good news. That's something that you can control. Even your personality, you can change your personality. I'm a big believer in that. It's one of the reasons why I've never been a huge fan of all these personality tests out there. I know there are some that are supposed to be really scientific and people really believe in them. And there's some validity to it. There's kind of a natural sort of baseline personality that maybe that we have, that we all have. But I think that it gives people this idea that, well, you're a certain personality type and that's what you are. And so you act a certain way and that's what it is and you can't change it. And I don't think that's true. Your personality there's a lot that goes into it, but a lot of it has to do with your own behavior. Like when people describe your personality, they're talking about how you act and what you say and how you present yourself and the kind of moods that you're in, or at least the kind of moods that you present to the public. That's what other people are talking about when they describe your personality. And all of that is controllable. You can control all of that. So that's what I would do. Just start thinking about making yourself, if you feel like you're not desirable to women, you can change that. So think about all the things, make a mental checklist. What are all the things that you think a good woman would find desirable? And, if that's a checklist with 5 major items, let's say, the great news is that about probably 4 of those items you can change immediately. There are other things that might take more time. I mean, obviously, being financially successful, that also helps because even women who fashion themselves as independent and progressive and enlightened are actually looking for men who can provide for them. That's like biologically hardwired. And that's not something that you can immediately change overnight. But it's also not a necessity either. I was not anywhere close to financially successful when I got married. So those are things that you could change. And on the financial success part of it too, I would also say that if you're not rich right now, like that's okay. Most people aren't. And you can't, I'm not going to give you some get rich quick scheme where you can go out and be rich in 100 days. What you can do though is present the qualities of someone who a woman might think, well, that person, they might not be super financially successful now, but I could see that they would be in the future. I could see the potential for that. So you can present the qualities of a hardworking, ambitious person with lots of big ideas and big dreams. Women find that appealing. So that's what I would do. Work on all that, implement it for a while. It's not going to be an overnight fix. And then come back and we'll see how you're doing. And I think that's it. That's only one, but we'll leave it there.